Okay, now we're going to talk about sorting and filtering, removing duplicates, and then the undo command and shortcut, which we covered before, but just want to make sure that we highlight that again. So in terms of sorting and filtering, similar type of exercises. You can see if you go up to the data tab up at the top, you can see the sort and filter buttons here. So let's say that we want to sort our data, and let's say that we want to sort it by the age of employees. So we want to sort our data from the youngest person to the oldest person. How are we going to do that? Several different ways. The first way that we can do that is we just simply go up to this sort button and we click on that. It's going to automatically pick up the data that we have. You can see several different options here, adding and deleting levels, so you can sort by, let's say we wanted to sort by age and then tenure, we can do that as well. You want to be careful here on the My Data has headers. In our particular data set, we do have headers, and Excel has picked that up, so it's automatically selected that box for us, which is good. So let's do this. We're going to sort by, we're going to say age, and it's going to sort on values. Your other options, if you have cell colors or font colors and things, you can sort on those, but we're going to stick with values for now. And we said that we wanted to do youngest to oldest, so we're going to do smallest to largest. If you wanted to do oldest to youngest, you can click on this and do largest to smallest, but we're going to stick with what we've got. I'm going to hit OK, and our data is then going to be sorted. So these are our ages that we have. Let's say that we wanted to sort by age and then tenure. And you'll see here that the ID numbers are all mixed up because we've sorted by something else other than ID number. Let's say we want to sort by age and then we want to sort by tenure within those different ages. What we're going to do is we're going to say add level, and so sort by age, sort on values, smallest to largest, then by, let's say, tenure, values, smallest to largest, and we're going to say OK. And you can see here that it's sorted by age, so we have all of our 22-year-olds, our 23-year-olds here. So here are our list of 23-year-olds, and you can see that their tenure is listed here, and it's sorted by tenure as well. So that's sorting. Another way that you can sort, I'll show you in just a second, but let's go ahead and go back to, we're going to sort. It's going to ask me if I want to expand the selection because I've selected a couple cells. I'm going to say yes, expand the selection, and go to sort. So it's going to again highlight our whole table. I'm going to remove this. So I clicked on it. I'm going to say delete level, and I'm going to say sort by ID number, smallest to largest. Okay. Now we're back to our original data set, and we have that original data set that we posted and pulled from the class site. I'm going to throw some filters on our data set and show you how to filter this data. So what I'm going to do is highlight this top row, and then I'm going to come up here to this filter button, the little funnel, and I'm going to click filter, and you can see now all of the little drop downs. And this is my favorite way, honestly, to filter or to sort things as well, because what we can do now is if we click on age, it says here at the top, sort smallest to largest or largest to smallest. So if I click on this, we're going to sort all of our data by age, because that's what we clicked on, smallest to largest, and you can see that we've sorted that. One way that you know that you're sorted by that is that because you can see this little tiny arrow right here in the drop down. So we're sorted by age, and that is ascending, sorted by age. So I'm going to go ahead and sort by ID number again, smallest to largest, and you can see there the ID number, the little arrow is there because we're sorted by ID number. In order to turn our filters off, we simply just click on the filter again, but let's turn them back on, and let's say that we want to only look at females in our data set. All we do is we click on this little drop down and we uncheck male and hit OK, and now we can see all of our females. You'll know that you're sorted, or you're filtered rather, because your row numbers will turn blue and you'll see gaps in your numbers, right? So it goes from row 1 to 2, it skips 3 because there's a male there, 4, 5, skips a bunch, goes to 13, etc., etc., and these are all blue. Let's say I then want to clear that filter. Several ways to clear the filter. We can either come up to the top and say clear right here, or let's filter again on gender. We're going to uncheck male. So now we have all of our females again. and we can come here and just simply check on male again. But if you get into, sorting by, let's say we want to look at our females, and we want to look at our females who are located in only the United States, select OK, and we want them who are going to be our engineer 2s. And then we say, okay, well, now I want to look at the whole data set. Instead of going through and deselecting all of these or selecting all of these other values, it's very easy just to come up here and say clear, and now we're looking at our whole data set. You might have noticed that in order to get some of the values that I wanted to see on that last filter, really, when you click on the drop-down menu, it gives you all of the values for that particular field. So work country, you can see all the different countries where our employees are located. Let's say I want to look at the people who are located in Australia and the United Kingdom. What I would do, I could go through and deselect all of these things, but a faster way to do it is to deselect the select all checkbox, go to Australia, select that, select United Kingdom, hit OK. And then you can do that with any other data set or any other field value as well. Let's click on just Australia. So we're going to come down and deselect United Kingdom. There's only a few people in Australia according to our data set, and you'll see that these columns or the options to select the values here, they update as you filter out other values. So you'll see that Australia, there is no performance rating of anything but a 3 or a 2. So you'll see that in the data. You can only select a 3 or a 2. So let's say that we only want to look at the 3s, and then we filter that. So I'm going to say clear here. And now if we go to performance rating, we have all of the values because we're looking at our full data set. You can also tell that you're looking at your full data set. Not only are these values, the row labels, blue, but your clear button up here is also going to turn gray. So you're unable to clear the values, which is how you know. If you're ever at a doubt, let's say we're going to take out our engineer 1s, and we're not sure if we're filtered or not. You can also tell here because we're filtered, the little funnel shows up. All you really have to do, you can turn the filter off, and now we have our full data set again. So really easy to do, super easy to turn on filters. Select your range, select the filter button, and go to town. So pretty easy there. The next piece of functionality that we're going to take a look at, I'm going to turn the filters off, is that we're going to look at removing duplicates. And so sometimes when you're in an HR environment, you're going to get a data set. Let's say you get a snapshot of your entire employee population based on all of the transactions that have happened within the HRIS system. And you want to do some sort of analysis with the transactions to figure out kind of maybe what are some of the drivers of turnover or promotions or things like that. So that's a pretty common type of analysis that we can do with the data that we sit on. So let's say that we're going to do some analysis, but we know, for example, that there are multiple rows for each employee. And we need to remove those rows because we don't want them to be double counted in our analysis, right? So we want to have an accurate picture of our current snapshot, and we don't want to have duplicate rows. So how would we do that? Well, I'll show you. So let's go back to sheet 2. This is where we were copying and pasting the information that we have. And we're going to remove the duplicates. So I'm going to take, for example, let's see here. We will take, let's say we've got ID number 1 and 2. I'm going to copy those, and I'm going to arrow down, and I'm just going to paste a couple of these as well so that we have some duplicate rows. And I'm going to delete these other rows. So I'm going to come over here to number 8 and highlight the entire row, and I'm going to right click and say delete, and that gets rid of that information. I'm also going to clean this up just for simplicity's sake. I'm going to get rid of these other columns here. So similar kind of thing, I'm going to come up here. Remember when we said in order to select a whole column, you go up to the black arrow. We're going to left click and drag that over. And then I'm going to right click and say delete. and it will delete those columns for me. So now what we have is an ID number and a gender, and we've got some duplicates, right? So 1 coincides with male, let's see, 1, 2, 3 times, and 2 coincides with female, 1, 2, and 3 times. So in order to remove duplicates, what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the cells that where we want to remove those duplicates. We're going to come up here to the remove duplicates button and click on that. And it's going to ask us, it's going to say to remove or to delete duplicate values, select one or more columns that may contain duplicates. Because we know that there are duplicates in both columns, we're going to let it select both of those columns, and we're going to say my data has headers, right? Very similar to the filtering that we did. My data has headers there as well, so if we want to make sure that that's checked because we do have headers in our data. ID number and gender are our headers. And we're going to hit OK. And it's going to pop up and it's going to say 4 duplicate values found and removed and 2 unique values remain. We're going to hit OK. And what do we have left? We have 1 of each of these duplicate values. So very common, again, and very useful when you are doing data cleaning, data validation, things like that. So very common in HR, especially with the data that we deal with, employee data, demographics, things like that, to make sure that you don't have duplicate information and you're not counting people twice. Critically important to make sure that we're getting rid of those duplicate values. So that was Module 2, Basic Operations, and thank you very much. Good luck.